Okay, so we want our special guests to be unmuted. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday morning business chat. I'm your co-host this morning, Robin, and we get together on Thursday mornings to share, ideas, trainings, wisdom from the leadership to support you in your life and your business. And this morning, like you hear many times, we get our topic on our leadership call. And we did it again. So what we're going to do this morning, let's see if I can, let's see, that might be a little better. Okay, so this morning, we're continuing the topic of leverage. And, this is a dream business where you get to develop and design your dream lifestyle. And so this morning we have some additional support for you to understand how to do that yet another level. And we have a special guest that happens to be a host guest of ours. We have been having such a great time having Janet Kiefer, one of our senior presidentials, visiting us. We're racking up all the leaders, so it's pretty fun. Or visitors, I don't want to say just leaders. People are coming through Montana, and we've been having a great time doing all kinds of strategic work and fun and all kinds of other stuff. So this morning, Janet's going to lead off with something that, she shared with me the other night, and I went, oh my gosh, we got to share this with everyone. And our directors felt the same. So I'm not going to take up any more space. I'm going to turn it over to Janet, and I believe she's going to bring on Barbara Larrabee also, another one of our leaders. So if your line, I'm going to make sure everyone's line is muted, and I'm going to turn things over to Janet.
Thank you, Robin, and good morning to everyone here on the call. We appreciate you being here, and to those of you watching on Facebook, and those of you who watch the recording. So we'd like to bring to you kind of a case study of our group's work with the book 10X is Easier Than 2X. And Barbara and I are going to be sharing it. Barbara was the one that introduced our team to it. And in January, we gathered a group of people who wanted to read the book. And for 4 weeks, we read it and talked. And we wanted to share kind of what happened. So maybe this is something you'd like to do. Maybe it's something you'd like to do with your team. Maybe it's not for you at all. Maybe a year from now, you'll go, oh, I remember that. And it'll be time for you. But Barbara and I are going to share kind of a high level what the book is about and what happened for us and what happened for our team. So I'm going to share my screen here. And because visuals are so much more fun. So the book is written by Dan Sullivan, and he's the founder of Strategic Coach. And Strategic Coach is a consultancy that works with entrepreneurs. You have to have at least 3 years experience. You have to have at least a personal net income of 200,000.
Oh, sorry, Janet, I muted you accidentally.
Okay, I'm not sure what you guys heard. So Dan Sullivan's the founder of Strategic Coach. That's who authored the book. And to be in their program, you have to be in business 3 years. You have to make almost $250,000. You have to go through qualifications. In 2000, I learned about Strategic Coach, and I really wanted to do it. I had a friend in Dallas who was one of their instructors, and I was like chomping at the bit. Unfortunately, I didn't qualify, so I never got in. So when Barbara brought this book to us and I saw it was by Strategic Coach, I was like, oh my gosh, they opened up the curtain for us. And so Barbara's going to kick this off and talk at first kind of what it's about, and then we're going to tell you what our group went through. So go ahead, Barbara Larrabee.
Thank you, Janet, and hi to everybody here. So yes, this was totally a transformational book for me. I discovered it in October last year, and it really propelled me through a big change here in my life. And the thing about it is, it's a method for designing your life so that you grow exponentially more than you ever previously thought possible. This is not your same old goal setting books. And 10X frames your deepest and most genuine why, your passion, your mission. I mean, I actually spent hours. I got a notebook and I just wrote pages and pages as I went through the principles in the book, and it was just really a deep dive for myself. And the goals really are so big and so significant that they change you and really give you a new vision of who you can become. And you're inspired to do it. It isn't tedious. Don't get the wrong idea. It's not somebody telling you to work 10 times harder. That's not it at all. This is about becoming 10 times bigger, having 10 times goals, and having it all be easier. So why would you want to do it? Because it does take some personal work to dig in. And it's really because regular goal setting programs, well, okay, I accidentally just said that. They teach you to work twice as hard, but they really don't get you to the 10 extremes. It's just all about, oh, you have to do twice as many calls, twice as many this. And it's not getting you where you want to go. And it's a grind. It's not being inspired. And so this is a system based on removing some things from your life that are not getting you there. And it opens up that space and freedom to put in the things that will get you there. So it is also a vibrational change. And I think everybody on this call is into frequency and vibration. And it is, so it's a vibrational change because your goals are coming from your heart, and it brings the people and circumstances into your world that are actually going to make it easier and make it happen for you.
Thank you, Barbara. So this chart kind of helps us understand what are some of the advantages. So the first one says greater ROI. I actually would rename that. I would say greater results, because you start to really understand what's not worth your time or attention or effort, because you've spent time really looking at what we're going to talk about, the 80-20 of what we're doing all day long. And so you start to evaluate your day like, wait a minute, that isn't in my 10x goal. I'm not doing it, right? You're also learning and improving. You're zeroing in on the strategies and tools, because the book keeps going and helping you, right? And all that. And it says more energy, because your progress motivates and energizes you and everyone around you, which we're going to talk about. And then better teamwork. It really focuses quickly and highlights each person's unique strengths. That's where the book goes in and really starts talking about, wait a minute, you have a unique advantage that no one else does. You have a unique ability that no one else does. And why aren't you really doing that? That's what sets your fire every day. And so you get this big permission. Wait a minute, you need to focus on what you're good at, right? And then the new normal is you find it easier to stay focused and growing your business in your life. And when I started this book in probably around the holidays, I said, we're doing this, kicking off 2024 and the team, whoever wants to join in. And so we spent 4 weeks, January into February, really kicking off the team. How would you like to stay focused and grow this year? Because this is a big year, in especially in LifeWave, being the 20th anniversary, and we're going to have the October convention. What could you do between now and October? A lot. So let us explain kind of what happened with us. So Barbara, talk about though what kind of gets in the way.
Well, our typical daily life and all of our doubts start showing up. Like, I don't want to do all the work that 10X will require, because it takes away your safety zone. And you, like I said, I sat down and spent time with it and digging deep, and that is some work. And also that it will cause a lot of stress for everyone. Well, especially if you have a family dynamic, that is something that you have to address, and you have to be okay with it, and you have to find your way around it. I don't have the team necessary to achieve 10X. Well, we really all do, and the 10X program is going to allow room for that team to be a 10X team. So number 4, I work in a very unpredictable industry with big ups and downs. Number 5, I'm afraid to sacrifice my quality of life. So these are objections, and there is some validity to that. And that's something that you personally have to examine.
And I would agree with Barbara. I think what it puts us up against is two things. What will people think? And your own inner fears, your own maybe lack of confidence. Why haven't I stepped out? Why don't I, Rich? You know, you get into LifeWave and you go, I'm going for it. And then you realize, oh my gosh, it's been like 3 months and I haven't even got to manager yet, right? So it really helps you grow inside and address, and it's like rearranging the furniture, really. So we're going to both kind of talk through this. So kick it off, Barbara. Talk about 80-20.
So one of the main concepts from Dan Kennedy is that that we're focusing on too many things that aren't getting us there. So the existing, you see the 80% existing there. This is something for you to examine and recognize what 80% is not serving me. And if you remove that 80%, then you have a 20%, you take that 20% and you are able to focus on it. That is your 20% that is going to help get you to your bigger dreams. So you can examine in your life what's working for you and what isn't working for you. And I'll give you, this is kind of a little off the wall, but I was preparing for a move from Texas to.
Oh, wait, Barbara, hold your story if you would.
Okay.
We're going to go through it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So with this, everything either becomes 10x or 2x. You start to go, oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't be doing this. It's kind of me procrastinating. Okay, let's go. But they also bring up the concept of who, not how. So in our 80%, it's how am I going to do this? How am I going to fit it in? How am I going to take care of this? How am I going to do that? I'm totally guilty of that. And they start going, wait a minute. If it's something in your 80%, you shouldn't be doing it. Who are you going to get to help you? And Barbara's going to explain hers. And that shift for all of us, we're going to talk about our group. I was like, oh, should I really be cleaning the house? Can I really at some point hire someone? Because honestly, my time is more valuable spent on LifeWave, right? So there are workbooks. There's a bunch of workbooks out there. And I got one and I have been working with it daily. It sits on my desk. I get my coffee in the morning and I go to my 10X book because this is our time. This isn't like check mark, I did it. So we're going to explain who quite coming in here, which I think for all of us, it was like, yep, I got to go big time and I got to let go of that. Okay. So we had a group join and we worked for about 4 weeks on it. And these were some of the bigger goals that our team started to really decide, yeah, this is what I want to do. And they may be on the call. We'll get them to share. One was provide patches to veterans. They work with a lot of veterans group. They'd like to help them. Reach SPD rank, help people in pain, help 1,000 people, help earn 500,000 to resolve medical debt. One of our teams really got medical debt. Well, that's a big goal. Want to get it off. Some others want to set up a foundation to help abused women and is doing it from this. Someone just wanted to have 2 homes, be able to go vacation, travel the world. Another, create a wellness center, right? But we hear those and go, oh, I want to create a wellness center. But no, this book is like, okay, let's go. Let's start putting it. So it took you 10 years. It moves you on. So we really saw the book made us focus on the person you become on your way to doing this. It isn't just, oh, I reached that goal. You yourself have to level up. You have to learn more. You have to stretch. So we started to see, wow, I really want to become a bigger person. So let's have Barbara share her story.
Okay, so I made a decision last year to move to Florida, but any big decision, of course, you have second guessing, you have a lot of doubts, etc. But I did start taking some steps to that. But much of my life, I've really played small, not lived an elegant life, had, so-so kind of jobs, that kind of thing. And I really was in survival mode for many, many, many years, even up until finding LifeWave. And I was even house sharing with a friend because I couldn't support myself out in the real world. And so 10X really helped me get over the hump. I was doing it anyway, but it takes a lot of courage to make this kind of a shift. And I had people all the time telling me, oh, you don't know anybody there? I could never do that. I mean, I had so many doubters in my sphere of influence that it was really kind of interesting. And so I was just going forward on my own courage. But then the book helped me reach a place of inspiration. And when I was packing, I was trying to sort things out, and donating and doing clothes. And I would actually hold a piece of clothing up and say, does this belong to the 10X barber that lives in Florida? So I was picturing myself. I had created my new dreams, got them all written out, my new dreams of what it looks like for my wonderful, prosperous, exciting, fun life in Florida. And if that didn't fit, it went. And that is actually literally how I sorted out my belongings and my clothing. And then the second part, which Janet just covered, the who, to try to start bringing the who's into your life. It was, instead of the old way of moving, like using a U-Haul truck, it was the pod system. Hiring the movers, they load, they unload, it just gets there and shows up on your doorstep. And for the first time ever in probably 40 moves in my life, I hired somebody to do the apartment clean out at the end. So I am starting to think in my process of who can make this easier, who can help me move further and faster. And I'm starting to bring the who's into my thought process and open my mind to the who's. But the 10X dream, because I started all that work in October, and literally in December, I had to cut my safety net because I had to give notice at my apartment complex in December without having an apartment here yet in Florida. I had no idea where I was going. And so that book inspired me to keep visualizing it, keep moving ahead, keep keeping a knowing that it was just going to be okay.
Thank you, Barbara. So on mine, I've had my 10X mission for a while has been to enroll 150,000 people over 50. And as of this morning, on our team, we have 4,440. So we have a long way to go, but then I get inspired by Gregory and Robin, who have over 200,000 people on the Live Younger team. So it is definitely doable. But I really focus on, we're inventing the future of age reversal, not anti-aging, you guys. We're the future of age reversal. And we're sending a giant ripple through people's health and longevity and wealth. And along the way, really, this is the most thing I've ever done in my life. It's so much fun to do this stuff. And I'm getting younger every day. I mean, bingo. But what I shared yesterday with the group is when we first started in fall, I started June of 21. By fall, I declared I would one day be an SPD. So in January of 23, I changed my login password to my computer to Senior Presidential Director 23. So every day I had to type it in. And then on November 29th, I reached SPD. I didn't, honestly, from January to November, I didn't know how. You just are moving through and setting big goals. But I had the intention, everything I'd done to that point for 2.5 years was to reach the goal of 150,000 over 50, and SPD would be a stepping stone. But who did I have to become? I had to become how to learn to be a manager. I had to learn how to be a director. From director on, you have to learn leadership. And then you have to learn how you're growing volume and how you're coaching people. All these things along the way, you're learning to be a different person. So we've got a long way to go. I'm going to stop there. We probably have some people on the call that were in our group that would like to share. We'll answer your questions. And, you know, if you don't care to do this book, that's great. And if you'd like to, that's great. But you can raise your hand if you have questions or if you'd like to share. And maybe, Liz, you could put us back into the gallery view. Or Robin, do you want to jump in?
I'd love to jump in. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Because when I first heard this, it sounded like doing more or being bigger. But I misunderstood. It's kind of like I misunderstood James Clear book on habits, but they're both totally aligned on who do you want to become and how can you leverage your time. And Janet was talking about through other people, you know, like what Barbara did. And I don't know how many of you have made this shift going, you know, what is only mine to do? And do you have a housekeeper? You know, if you love to clean your house and that's therapeutic for you, go for it. But for a lot of us, we want it done, but we don't want to do it. And Gregory's always had a bookkeeper. I mean, Gregory understands delegation and leverage really, really well. And it's been quite a learning for me to realize I don't have to do everything and I can leverage my time so much better. So really this concept, I'm now excited about it and I immediately ordered the book. And I just wanted to bring in one more when you were talking earlier, it made me think of this this model of driving forces and restraining forces. And, you know, if we want to go from point A to point B, typically in our culture, we add more gas. And what happens if you have your foot on the brake and accelerator at the same time and you add more gas, what happens? We end up increasing the resistance. But if you take a look at what are the restraining forces, where is the energy being exerted that's not supporting you and moving forward? So sometimes it's about what are you going to let go of? You know, what is putting the brake on? And it could be your belief system. It could be that you're doing everything yourself. And when you let go of the brake, what happens? We automatically move forward without any extra effort. So the combination of really understanding where the levers are in our lives, whether it's through other people or letting go or saying no. And Janet, I'd love you to talk about that. What do you say no to? Because I think that's a really important thing for so many of us.
Well, thank you, Robin. And also, I'm going to ask two people to join us here.
Oh, great.
I think in my experience, this is not absolute, but guys, you're a little better than us women saying no. And we tend to take on and think we got to do everything for everybody. And I have a couple people on my team that have said they wanted to go for 2 years now, but they let everybody else's needs and wants and chaos to be in front of them, and they never get going. They don't say no. And it's really declaring my bigger vision is going to help those people. And I need to say, you're adult or you can handle it. I'm going to go over here. The no is really important. One celebrity long ago said, no is a complete sentence. And I was like, I love that.
That's
So
great.
I'm going to ask two people if they might share. I have got Cam Jennings on here, who was part of the group. And Cam, if you even wanted to give a little input of how you found doing the 10X project, go ahead and open up. And then I'd like to ask Connie just to talk about how, even though she may not have done the book, how she had to 10X to reach SPD that way. So either of you jump in.
You guys may have a hard time hearing me because I'm walking my dog and it's windy.
It sounds
Right.
good, Cam.
Okay. You know, I have 10x'd a lot of things my whole life, not knowing it. And one of the things I'm discovering about myself is that I really like the leadership role. I really like teaching. I really like helping people, and I'm really good at connecting with people. And so I've kind of pushed some other things aside. You know, I hired a housekeeper a long time ago because I couldn't do it physically, but now it's like I don't want to do it. So I continue with my housekeeper and landscaping and everything else. But I'm still on that road. I'm still trying to figure out who I am and what I want. I had my biggest week ever last month, and biggest month ever actually last month. And it's just working with other people and helping them and putting one foot in front of the other. That's been my mantra. Put that foot in front of the other, because it has been a struggle. So anyway,
Thank
that's
you,
all I can
Tammy.
say.
And Tammy is a natural leader, and she's finally given herself permission to step into it, which is great. Thank you. Connie, I'm kind of throwing you in front, but just if you want to share a bit of your journey to SPD, how you had to jump and reach for bigger stuff.
Sure. You mentioned so many of them. You really did. I definitely am a lot like Robin Mascari. I mean, I really resonated of I could do everything. And sometimes I would look at things like the bookkeeping and the this and the that, and I'm like, it's easy. Why wouldn't I do it? So here I was with 3 businesses, doing the bookkeeping, doing the this, doing the that, and having a hard time giving it up and trusting that somebody else could do it as well as I did it. And so finally I made that shift. The year that I went SPD, I got a bookkeeper instead of just a CPA. You know, I started shifting off. I told my business partner, I want out of the salon. I'm still not out of the salon. It's been a process, but I'm a lot less. It's getting smaller and smaller. The end date is set. What happens and where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do, I have no idea, but it's a decision that's already been made. So all those little things you talked about did it. Now I'm in that different phase, and I resonated with everything you're talking about. My husband literally was just lecturing me this morning on where I'm spending my time and who I'm spending my time with. So I looked at that 80% and what you pulled up there. In fact, I got the book yesterday. I ordered it. I got it within a few hours. And I was looking at, okay, so now it's a whole new thing. I reached the SPD goal. I reached beyond SPD. What does it look to go to the next level? And what does it look for my life to get balance back in? And so that was that piece of everything you said, looking at that 80% and what's going to be removed and where am I going to focus? And we literally took, no offense to anybody who's not on that list. I love everybody on my team, and everything I do, we're adding another training in that my leaders are helping with. Everything I do is to help everyone, but you have to find the focus of where you're spending your time and energy. And so I have to make the list of who really, to your point, Janet, who really is doing what they say they want to do. And that's where I have to work. And I can't, whether I love somebody or not, I can't keep hanging around having the same conversation I've had for 4 years with them. So a lot of those type of things. I'm really excited about the book. In fact, I probably will get the workbook as well to keep on task. But I'm super excited. Thank you for doing this. I'm super excited for my team to hear the recording. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Let me just say one thing with Connie. Connie also brings up another point. It doesn't like she reached SPD and stopped, you know, that now she's ready to go into another 10x level. And what's that going to be for her and Barry, right? And the book really walks you through. You'll love, by the way, you will love the opening 10 to 20 pages of this book. I will just give you the trailer. It's incredible how the book opens. And so you're going to have a reference of framework. If any of you have been to Italy, that's a little hint that you're going to love this. But to Connie's point, yes, drop this stuff away. Yes, you can keep going further. Thank you, Connie. Yes, Robin.
Yeah, well, I just want to address what Connie said and what you just said. And when we look at our businesses and look at the who and where you're spending your time, you know, and Gregory used to say to me, Robin, you're on the phone too long with that person. You know, and so really paying attention, not, and like Connie says, we love everybody, but there are some people that, you know, they're not building, and we love each and every person, and we have no judgment as to where you are in your business or where you want to go. It's really totally your choice, but it's our choice of where do we put our time. You know, there's customers and customer getters. And I don't know about you guys, I have a high maintenance customer, big time. And when the caller ID shows up and she calls me at 6 in the morning, you know, and I was warned by her, she was about her, she was a referral. And it's like, okay, how can I keep this, take care of her, but not spend a lot of time listening to the whining, complaining about all kinds of things in her life, and that FedEx left the package in the snow and she had to dig it, you know, whatever it is. But where we spend our time and and with who we spend our time and who deserves our time is really, really part of our business for us to be discerning about that one. So you guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Because this is really part of our journey to support each and every one of you to really be more of who you want to be. And this tool could be a life changer like it was for Barbara and Janet and their team. Anyone else want to ask questions? Okay, Allie has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm reminded of someone who said, who are the 5 people with whom you spend your most time? Who are your friends? And when I heard that, I thought, oh my gosh, there are a bunch of women who are stuck, who don't have much of an income. No wonder I'm there too, because I'm sharing their energy. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I read this book. I read about 3 of them a week, and this is so helpful. I'm really grateful.
Thank you, Allie. There's a couple of my team on this call who were in the group, and I would invite you to share if you would. Just raise your hand or jump on board. And also, any of you, most of us have gone through some 10x experience in our life. You know, we're talking about the book, but we'd love to hear maybe how some incident, some experience, maybe some job, family thing made you have to leap to a higher level. We'd love to hear if you'd like to share. Don't be shy.
Well, we are at the bottom of the hour. And if anyone have any other comments, or, I mean, it's fun to read the chat because it's, this affects all of us, because we were wondering, is this just a leadership book? No, this is for everybody in your life. And again, back to the quadrant 2 time management, are you spending your time in leveraged activities? You know, whether you get a housekeeper or a bookkeeper, you know, someone to do something. I don't open our mail anymore. Like, it's kind of invisible in my world. And isn't that wonderful? You know, and having a bookkeeper, Gregory's always had a bookkeeper. I never had a bookkeeper, and I don't really care about, I mean, you have to care about it, but I don't really like to do it. And so take a look at the things you don't like to do and find the who that can leverage your time. And, you know, I shared with Janet, and on the director's call yesterday, this man, Bill Murray, came to Stephen Covey. He said, I want to make a business out of 7 habits. This is met back in the 80s. And Stephen Covey is so clear about leverage. He goes, you can do that if I can do only what I want to do, which is to teach and to write. So he was absolutely clear on what is his to do. So the invitation to all of us is, what is ours to do? What are your gifts? And I think that's what happened when I was talking to Janet the other night of, you know, really looking at, you know, I'm in the process, as many of you know, of really designing the next chapter of my life, of using this, you know, incident that I've been going through to really redesign my life. And, you know, God bless Janet. She's been here since Sunday, and she's having a profound effect on my life. We spent 2 hours cleaning out my closet the other day. You know, it's like when you walk into a closet, if you have a walk-in closet or whatever, or you open a drawer and it's all packed, you don't realize how that energy keeps things stuck. And so looking at how to create more flow energetically in our lives and allow us to do what only we can do? What are your gifts that you want to bring forth in the world? And then how can you have other people do those other things that are needed? So anyone, I don't see any hands up. Well, again, Janet, Barbara, oh, Sunshower's got her hand up.
I've had a lot of 10Xs in my life. I'm gonna love reading this book. I think moving to Sedona, Arizona, not knowing anybody, no family, no job, no real home to come to. I actually lived on a homesteaded ranch, and my main goal was to get close to the earth. This place didn't have plumbing. And, you know, within 9 months, this is kind of an interesting story. I should write a book. You know, I became the designer of the City of Sedona logo. That's huge in my world. I mean, yeah, and moving out of victimhood into leadership, also 10X stuff, big time. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
So we
beautiful.
encourage you, reset, if you decide to do this, some big goals for your business. You don't have to know the how yet. The universe, Barbara talked about, it's going to line up. Gregor and Robin always talk about that. Many of you know synchronicity. And all of a sudden, this caused me to just say, okay, I know I have to do social media. And the next day, my friend recommended a top strategist, not someone to make posts, a strategist. And we're moving into YouTube. And boy, has that stretched me. Oh my gosh. But it shows up. So start declaring it. Well, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and thank you, Janet. And this is a mindset. You know, that's where it all begins. And then the distinction between man and animal is when we have a stimulus, we have the opportunity to choose our response. And if your knee-jerk reaction is, oh, I'll just take care of it myself, our invitation is to take a little pause and see if maybe someone else can handle that, or maybe you shouldn't be doing it. So it's learning to say no, because as Stephen Covey would say, there's a bigger yes inside. And that no muscle is something a lot of us get to develop. I know that's a big part of my work in the world, is developing that no muscle, because I want to say yes to everything. And that is not a smart thing. So I'm working on it. Okay, well, we are going to be complete with this section. And on Thursday mornings, we like to keep things open to any kind of business question that any of you have. So our training portion is now complete. We had our wonderful presenters today. And now if you have any kind of business questions about anything, we stay here for another 20 minutes if you want of answering, and we have a lot of our leaders on the line. So if any of you, are like questioning anything about anything, you just raise your hand and let us know, and we can move from there. So who wants to open things up with any kind of business questions?
It's Cameron. I have a question.
Yes, please, Cameron.
Hi, Robin. So I have a customer who orders a fair amount of product, and she lives in Mexico 3 months of the year, and so she's going back to Canada in a couple of weeks. And so she's going to order 9 months supply of the glutathione to bring home with her. And I want to know, is it okay? So I talked to her, and I asked her, are you going to share this, the products with people? And she said, absolutely. I'm going to share it with my friends and let them know about the results I'm already having, because she's having phenomenal results. And I said, okay, well, I could sign you up as a brand partner, and then everybody you talk to, send them to me. I'll have the conversation and I'll walk them through the process just like I did with her. So she came over to my house, and I set up an account for her, and I've been managing her account for her orders. And I said, would you like that? And she said, yeah, that's fine. She said, but she doesn't care about the commissions. They're already, they're very well off financially. Her and her husband are both 80, and so the money's not an issue. And so the question is, is it more beneficial to switch her to a brand partnership or to keep her as a preferred customer?
That's a really, really good question. So this is another one of those situations. If you're going to be doing all the work, and it sounds like you are, I don't understand why she would want to be a brand partner. If
Right.
money, the income isn't important, and if you're gonna be taking care of everyone, it would, from my perspective, make more sense for her to, refer them, keep as a customer, refer them, she'll end up getting free product, but you're gonna be the one taking care of them. My perspective is you should get paid for it, and that would be the commission from her referrals. So does anyone else have a comment about that? Can jump in. That's it. And that situation happens. It's really important. Like when people come on board, I had someone call me the other day and they had some influencer. And I spoke to this person. Well, they weren't willing to do anything. They just have a lot of contacts. And we work with a lot of influencers, which is fine. And we love it. But we want to make sure that there's people in their organization that we can train because we can't do it for them. And
Right.
so I make it really clear in the beginning, you want to take a look at who's doing the work. That person should get paid. That's
Oh.
my perspective.
Oh, okay. And then I also have, also in my, I ask myself, do I want to keep as a brand or as a customer to receive those direct commissions every month? Or if I help her and keep her as a customer and sign those people up under her, do I still benefit in any way, or is it just a case of business volume?
For every customer that is referred by a customer, you, the upline sponsor, get the commission. A customer never gets paid commission. They
wow.
they rack up points, and for every 300 from at least 300 from 3 different people, they earn $100 product credit. And
Oh,
there's no
wow.
limit. And
That's
there's no
really good
limit.
to know.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
limit. So if we have 6 people with 600, then they get $200 credit. So
Oh,
it racks up,
wow.
and I'm happy to visit with you more about that. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Oh, that's great. So she gets free product and I get the commission, and I sign the people up, obviously using her ID.
Correct.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Good.
Okay, it's under you, but she is the referral. Great, thank you.
Good.
Ally, then Beth, then Kame.
Both you and Connie have explained this, and I couldn't write fast enough. Meeting the person's needs who wants to get the product, would you please explain again the simple method of knowing how they can best get their X39s, like for 3 months, or you know what I'm talking about? You've explained it. You were
So this
looking at the picture of
question-
where they.
This is for Connie, this
Oh,
question?
Well, you and Connie both explained it, and you both said the same thing, and then I didn't know where it was to find it to replay it.
That's okay. So you want to know how the customer referral program works?
No, there was an explanation of which package to put them into. Maybe it was brand partners and which kit to sign them up on, depending on
Okay.
what they need, right? I think that's what it was.
Okay, great. So who wants to answer that? Okay, well, when I'm working with someone and they've looked at the videos and they say, this sounds great, I want to get started. I want to find out, are they a customer prospect or a brand partner prospect? So I don't say, do you want to be a customer or business builder? I say, is this just for yourself or will you be sharing? And they say, well, if it's as good as you say it is, of course I'll be sharing. So then I send them, or I pull it up on the screen, or I email it to them, the getting started options page that shows the different kits. And I go through the kits and I stay very neutral. And I say, the larger the kit, the better the value. If they're serious on building a business, then it makes more sense. And if there's a couple, and it depends after I've done an assessment of what patches they need, then this was trained to me by my sponsor, Dr. Nicholas, I'll give them a good, better, best option. Good would be X39, better would be, let's say they have pain or they're not sleeping, X39 and IceWave, X39, IceWave and Eon, so they get to choose, and then I'll show them which kit is better. And I say the important part is to get started and know that you can always upgrade to the next kit or above that to get a great value. The key, I'd much rather have someone need more patches than have too many patches that are sitting around and then they don't stay active. And if they say they want to produce an income, we want to make sure they understand that they need to stay active. And we know there's 5 different ways to stay active, but when you're brand new, it can be daunting of understanding all those. So I just recommend if someone says they want to develop an income, I say it's important to stay active. And I recommend you go on a monthly subscription so that you won't lose any points, which, you know, we don't want people to leave money on the table. And so we just let them know in the early stages, having a monthly subscription will keep their points accumulating until they get paid on them. So is that helpful, Ellie? And then the getting started options is in Live Younger Success under the library and tools in the business section. Okay,
Right. Thanks.
great. Okay, Beth.
Good morning. I
Good
am
morning.
so excited about this book. I am
I know,
very
so am
excited
I.
about this book. I'm doing it. It's hitting me right at the right time. So I wanted to put out there, Janet, my goal this year is to have my business online. And the learning curve is tremendous, but I am so close to actively having a selling thing this week. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm looking for people who are doing it to learn from. And one of the things that came up is, what is this online cart and how does it work?
Okay, well, we came up yesterday that as far as training topics, someone said they wanted to do the pre-populated cart. We have done it before, but it sounds like maybe we'll do it again. And Liz, do you know where that is? Because you're the one who did it. She's here somewhere. There you go. Liz, do you know where the pre-populated cart training is? It's in the Live Younger YouTube under the Thursday morning. Do you have any idea what date it was? Okay. She's unmuted, but I don't hear her. Okay. So we will either do another one or find it out where it is, Beth, okay?
Okay, super.
Thank-
I have one more question. One of the things that's come up is one of my team members, the thing that's meant the most to her is being able to get the product for free. And so she has been leading with that. And then we were talking about it the other day. So she's leading with become a preferred customer plus. So you can put people under you and get free product. But she's also, these are people that she sees as becoming brand partners. And we were talking it through, and I said, you don't necessarily get to take your customers with you if you move to brand partner. And I'm not sure I'm correct. So I wanted to throw that out again and see words of wisdom on that.
Okay, so the first thing I would say is I don't lean anyone in any direction. She's leaning people in the direction that's best for that she wanted for herself. I like to give people the options and stay in a neutral place and let them decide what's best for them. And so, you know, a lot of times if people start out as a customer and they really want to build a business, their placement in the tree can make a difference. So getting in the tree earlier can make a difference in their potential spillover from above. So excuse me, let me clear my throat. So I'd be very careful to, and that's a tendency a lot of us have, like we'll communicate to someone the way we want to be communicated with. If we like flowers and cards and chocolate, we'll give people that, but it's really best to ask what they want. And so be very careful about that for one, okay? That makes sense?
Yes, that's a very good way to start when I call her back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, and she's doing her best, but she doesn't realize she's doing what she would want, not necessarily what they would want. And so we always have to ask people, You know, is this for yourself or will you be sharing? And we give people the different options and let them choose. And we can show them the chart of the different benefits from PC, PC Plus, and brand partner. But it's to their disadvantage if they really want to build a business and you start them off as a customer and they're really serious about building a business. And then the other one, part two, when you are a customer and you've referred other customers and then you become a brand partner, right now it's a manual process, but you call customer service and you get those customers moved over to you.
Okay, so it can be done, but it's
Yes.
calling the company and having it done manually.
Yeah,
Okay.
eventually the intention is to have an upgrade button on the back end and then they'll automatically go with us, but it's not there yet.
Okay, okay. That
Okay.
sounds terrific.
Great.
Thank
So Kame,
you.
you're welcome. Kame and then Darlene.
Would you say that again, Robin? About the preferred customers, if they upgrade, they can take their referrals with them?
If a
Or did I
preferred
misunderstand?
customer has referred other customers and they become a
Yeah.
brand partner, you call the company and they'll do one by one of those customers, ID by ID number, and move them over because you were the sponsor, you were the introducer that got
Right.
them. So, and Connie, will you confirm that I'm on track here? Because Connie has a lot of those. Well, all right. Well, I've done it several times, so
Okay.
that's the way it works. Yeah.
Did
Okay.
not know that. I wanted to address what Cameron was saying, and you did a fabulous job with it. Robin, I have signed people up as brand partners that didn't want to do anything but make the money. And so I ended up doing all the work. So their intent is so important.
And finding that out in the beginning, you know,
Absolutely.
what I say to people, there's a responsibility with sponsorship. And so I'm really clear that, you know, you don't just sign people up in this business. It's a relationship business. People need care. They need to be supported. And
Yes.
so if they're not willing to do what it takes to support them, all they want to do is make money from them. You have to have a more serious conversation. Yeah.
Yes. And if you have someone like that, it's pretty difficult to change that pattern. You know, they
And that's
continue to sign
here's
people up and then expect you to do the work.
yeah, well, that's where you get to be clear on your boundaries and clear on what their responsibility is in the beginning. It's
Right.
much harder later on after you've developed that pattern. And it's part of this codependency pattern that some of us have had of taking care of people, and you're not really getting any benefit. And at the same time, you know, they're not taking responsibility. So it's not a healthy situation. We want long-term mutually rewarding relationships, as Gregory likes to say. And the way things, and this is something really important that sometimes I forget. The first time you contact someone, that is the beginning of their training on what they would do in the future. Well, they did this to me. They gave me a whole sleeve of patches. They gave me this. They gave me that. They took care of this. You want to be really careful that you want to always model what you want to duplicate and make sure it's a healthy way of modeling. And if you have any questions, reach to your upline and just get really clear about that. Okay. In the beginning. Okay.
I can't lower my hand, so I'm done.
That's okay. Thank you, Keme. I'll take care of that. Darlene.
Yes. Yesterday on the director call, I went back and watched the Dr. Nicholas video that was on that website y'all shared. Is there a place where I can find that little short clip and send it to people?
Remind me which it was. Dr. Nicholas, it wasn't from the call recently?
No, it's like a minute or so long. and it's in that website that y'all put together that's not really available to everybody yet. That's going to be
Oh.
happening, and it's got 6 doctors that you can click on, and they have short little clips. And
Oh,
his
that's-
was amazing, especially if you're wanting to share with another chiropractor. And I've had a couple of my brand partners ask what to say, and what he says is absolutely perfect.
So are you talking about from liveyounger.com, the section here where it says what our doctors are saying? This one?
Yes,
Great.
under where Dr. Nicholas Tivoli is. I tried to just download that part, but it wouldn't let me.
Oh, you want to download that part. Okay. That needs to be on a YouTube, and maybe Liz can help us with that. Because I don't know what format that's in. Liz, are you available to answer that? She's here. Okay, let's do that one offline, Darlene, and figure out
Okay.
how, 'cause I'm sure we can figure out how to get that to you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, that's where it is. So liveyounger.com. And notice there's some changes here.
Yes.
Like this. Yeah, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now. With Janet being here, Janet and Gregory are doing a lot of strategic work. I'm helping out, but lots of wonderful things are unfolding that we're excited to share with you. Okay, anyone else have any final comments or questions about anything related to the business or anything at all?
Yes,
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I have one more.
Yes.
Is there any hints of the date when the supplements are coming?
Occurred is it's shifted from first quarter to second quarter, and second quarter starts in a few days, but we don't know when. It definitely, all we heard was it's taking longer than expected, but it is coming in the US, and just to be clear, and that will allow us, we're in this interesting transition right now with compliance where we want to be really careful and not publicly talk about activating stem cells. Privately, one-on-one, you could say whatever you want, but right now, let's be protective of the company and their request. And if you're doing anything public, make sure you're very compliant with the FDA regulations that they've asked us to share. So it's coming soon, but we don't have a date. I'm sorry to share that, but it's coming soon. Yes, we know a lot of us are very anxious for it, and then we'll be able to talk about increasing stem cell activity. Yeah. Okay. And I think, Cameron, you had something you wanted to share.
Yeah, just quickly, I did notice that they have to be a PC plus in order to
Correct.
do the referral program. Yeah.
That is correct. The
Okay.
PC Plus has many other benefits. You don't get referral credits. You don't get samples. You don't get the extra retention gifts. That all comes with PC Plus. It is a yearly fee of $19.95. Unless you stay active 12 months out of the year, they waive that yearly fee.
Oh,
That's a
nice.
good thing to let people know also.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, it's the top of the hour. It's 9:59. We got one more minute, but we can call this complete if there's nothing else going on. Again, thank you, Janet and Barbara for sharing this morning, and Kamei. This work, this 10X work is life-changing, as is Atomic Habits, as is John Maxwell's book, if you choose to embrace them. It's designed to simplify your life, to focus on what is most important for you to accomplish your desired outcomes in your business and in your life. And so, as Jim Rohn says, work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business, because you are your business. And we're actually in conversation about what the next book is for the book club. This book is a great book for everyone for leverage that is ready for it. Okay. Thank you,
Robin,
everyone. Liz, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Somebody asked in the chat if
Yes.
that they said that they don't understand why it's important to put people on the outside of the binary, on the outside legs, and customer service was not able to answer that. So maybe
Okay,
you can
yes,
respond to that.
thank you, Kim A.
Mhm.
Everyone builds two teams, one on the left and one on the right. And one team, people have different names for them, and it's going to alternate back and forth. One team is a shared leg. And the shared leg means that you may, and no guarantees on this, you may get spillover from up above that builds volume down that leg. The other leg is your personal leg. And your personal leg are people you sponsor and people they sponsor. The shared or team leg, some of that volume that is from spillover is not included in your group volume unilevel, which helps you move through the ranks. All the volume from your personal leg goes into your GVU that helps you advance from senior director and above. Now, when you're building your business, you only put people on the outside left and outside right. We don't build people's personal legs. That is for them to do. So so when I'm building a business, I set my preferences and then I enroll. I don't go to the tree and enroll, because that's where you can get into trouble and that's where you can put people in the wrong place. So if you stay consistent and build from enroll new and have your preferences set right, once in a while, it will make sense to put someone an inside leg, but rarely. Like I'm building a business for my son. He's going to get money from us one way or another, right? So we might as well develop him his own income stream. And so I'll put other family members under him, but rarely do you ever put anyone on an inside leg. Family is an exception, but for the most part, you only put people on the outside leg. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, well, thank you, everyone, for being with us this morning. Have a wonderful day. Lots of exciting things are unfolding behind the scenes with Liz and Judy and Janet and Gregory and me. And I think you're going to really appreciate what's unfolding to simplify our process and make it easier for you to grow in the business and have the tools and resources to do that. So we'll say goodbye. If you want to unmute and say thank you to Janet and Barbara, that would be great.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Janet,
Thank
Barbara.
you
Hi,
so
everyone.
much.
Janet,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Barbara.
Thank you.
Awesome.
That was excellent.
Bye.
Phenomenal call. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your help.
Exceptional coverage
Wonderful
of
call.
the
Thanks
information.
a lot. Great
Great
call.
Thank
stuff.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Jeez.